car vlog, a live car vlog. Here to talk about some wrestling. Here to talk about some my thoughts and my viewpoints. Nobody tells you that remember that God loves you, Christ loves you, and I love you as well. I'm praying that you guys have a wonderful day. If you're going through things, I'm praying that you get out of it. I'm praying that God takes you where you need to be, but I also pray that you listen to His direction and His guidance on how to either endure or even go through the situation. Make sure you subscribe to the Taking Over Podcast, where I talk about professional wrestling topics and I put in my matches as classic alpha, professional wrestler of 13 years. Make sure you also subscribe to C3 Ultimate Wrestling. That is me and my wife's professional wrestling company. Got a lot of things coming up. Lord willing, I can tell you guys either by the end of this week or next week about certain things. But God is good. So WWE, they decided to have a major announcement today, and they said it was like groundbreaking and it was gonna, be so epic. And a lot of us assumed what it was because we heard about the rumors of WrestleMania 43 being in Saudi Arabia. And lo and behold, that's what it is. So they're getting WrestleMania. It's not their own, like they had their own Royal Rumble that one year and stuff like that. They're getting their own WrestleMania. Like WrestleMania 43 will be in the history books as a WrestleMania. Like I said, for the most part, from what I've seen on my end of social media, a lot of people are upset with it because of certain things that's going on in Saudi Arabia. They call it a certain thing. A lot of people want to go to WrestleMania, even the crazy prices. A lot of people still would have went and paid tickets because these events are still getting sold out and stuff like that. But a lot of people are upset with that. Now, I'm going to speak about it. I spoke about it a little bit briefly yesterday when I went live during my lunch. And like I said, I ain't going. So I ain't going to WrestlePalooza. I ain't going. Hey, when they say who all gonna be there, y'all can say Chris Classic's not gonna be there. I'm definitely not gonna be there. If you want to go, by all means, have fun. I hope you ball out or whatever like that. But to me, with the changing of the management and stuff like that, and them being so uber profitable, I do think they did lose the plot for some of the fans. Not all. Some of these people are diehard WWE fans. They'll do anything to support. And sometimes companies, and they up prices or they cut prices and stuff, and they're in their up pricing era, and people are still buying. I just think that they shouldn't lie to people and be like, oh, well, we're going to drop these prices down when y'all are clearly not. Especially when I talk about the John Cena situation. But still, it's going to be there. Now, I'm going to say this as well because I'm pondering on it. Saudi Arabia has a lot of things that they're doing where, women can't do certain things, people can't do certain things and stuff like that, almost like any other country, but still. A lot of people are feeling a certain way about it and stuff like that, which is weird because basically how they do things, it does go into politics. And a lot of people are like, especially in this week alone, people are like, keep politics out of it. So it's like WWE low-key is kind of keeping politics out of it by doing business with Saudi Arabia, even though there's a lot of things that people won't say is political. It's more like basically human rights and stuff, but it still deems into political. And this goes into my point of the goalpost moves so many times. What's going on, Phoenix? Goalposts move so many times because people can be hypocritical. Some people can lie. Some people can do certain things when it comes to the situation. Do I think that they should be going out there? Me personally, no. However, I don't think that these people are forcing these wrestlers to go at the same time. You can lose your job, obviously, that's your financial stability, but I do think that some people have choices on if they want to go or not. But still, that goes into the political thing. You want to stay out of politics, but then when somebody else stay out of politics the way you don't want them to, it is a problem. I will say that. And I know a lot of people are talking about what differing opinions are. I know people are talking about what politics are, but it is what it is. That's what the laws they have out there. That's their politics. I'm not sitting here saying I agree. Once again, I'm going to say again, I'm not sitting here saying that I agree with certain things that they do and stuff like that. However, that's their politics. And WWE is not looking at their politics. They're looking at their money. They're looking at what they can get. They're looking at the money that they're sending them. They don't care about all of that stuff. Women can be wearing two pieces and all of that stuff. So the women going out there, they got them full outfits on and stuff. I know they sweating up a song because I know it's hot out there. That's what they choose to do. That's what they choose to do at the end of the day. They thinking about wrestling. They're not thinking about politics at the time. As a moral man, a lot of people be like, hey, sometimes people put their morals to the side to do certain things. And, you know, hey, it is what it is. You think that WWE is the moral company? I hate to tell you, thing like that, and they're going to continue to do that. What's going on, random edits? But still, I do understand Americans, some of the American frustration. What up, TSV Ray? Shout out to you talking about some wrestling. I do understand that people are upset. If you are an American or Canadian or whatever who probably did want to go to Wrestlemania and probably didn't plan to go to 42, but maybe 43, now you'd have to, you know, spend a lot more money to go out there. So I do understand when it comes to that situation. I even understand the political climate. I truly do. I did want to bring up, yeah, it's this area that I'm at, bro. Like every time like I'm driving to this certain street going home, it lags. I should be good in a little bit. So yeah, because I see like even the live now, like even how I'm moving, it's like look like I'm chopped and screwed. But still, going back into the situation, I can understand why people are frustrated with it. Like people, let's be honest here, as successful as WWE has been, a lot of people are frustrated. But the thing is, people are frustrated customers, which means that people are still buying tickets or they're still watching, they're still subscribed to Peacock. I unsubscribed because they ain't doing no more PLEs, and that was the only reason why I was watching it. They got a lot of good looking movies and a whole bunch of other stuff, but at the same time, I ain't about to do this ESPN thing. I might do what Stephanie said and do the VPN, and this coming from me. I might, if I want to look at it or something else. I'm not big on VPNs, you guys know that, but still, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. The thing is, it is going to the highest bidder. Everything is going to the highest bidder, right? I spoke about yesterday. I'll speak about it briefly again. WrestleMania 42 was supposed to be in New Orleans. Las Vegas put out a bigger bid than New Orleans. It's in Las Vegas back to back. It was in Las Vegas this year. It's in Las Vegas next year. So New Orleans is supposed to be getting another PLE, but who knows? Minneapolis was supposed to get SummerSlam this year. They wound up going to New York, New Jersey. It's going to the highest bidder. So even to the fact where they're saying, oh, well, we're going to bring a PLE, another PLE to your event. No, if another city outbids whatever y'all going to give New Orleans, y'all are going to go to that city that outbids New Orleans. It's a business. And a lot of people are saying it. They're like, man, I don't like this TKO stuff. But whatever they're doing, whatever they're selling, people are buying. People are still buying. They are still spending a lot of money on these tickets because, you know, your kids want to go to WWE events. So sometimes you're like, okay, cool, I'm going to break the bank for my kids and stuff like that. I'm going to do all of that. And that's just what it is. The Saudi Arabia thing, like I said, it don't bother me. I mean, they're making money. You know, one of the main things you want to do in the business is make money, and that's exactly what they do. Going overseas again and stuff. You know, they usually do it 2 times per year. Curious to see like how this is gonna go. Curious to see, like, I'm hearing rumors that they want The Rock to wrestle, and they're gonna pay The Rock so much money. He's gonna be the highest paid wrestler. Mind you, he's not much of a wrestler anymore, but they want to pay him a lot of money to come in, and you bet your bottom dollar they're gonna go in. Listen, a little bit under the weather, excuse me. Saudi Arabia will make anybody come out of retirement. We saw Shawn Michaels, who had great back-to-back matches at WrestleMania 25 and 26 against The Undertaker. Great matches, right? And we thought we would never see him again. All of a sudden, he teams up with Triple H to go against the Brothers of Destruction, The Undertaker and Kane. Now, it is deemed one of the worst matches in WWE history for reasons, right? I refused to watch it. When I saw clips, I was like, ew, no, I'm good on that one. And this is coming from a guy who's a fan of all 4 men. But the fact that these guys was out of shape, they was old, Kane mask fell off, Triple H tore his I think rotator cuff. He did something, he messed his arm up. Shawn Michaels was bald. And then did I forget to say that Shawn Michaels was bald? That's just one of those things. It was just like a lot of people was excited to see Shawn Michaels come out of retirement, but I think that a lot of people would have enjoyed if he would have faced AJ Styles. Seth Rollins. Other guys that I feel like deserved it, nothing against the legends and stuff that I looked up to and grew up watching. But at the same time, that match didn't need to happen for a reason. We had Goldberg and Undertaker out there, and it was so hot. Goldberg busted himself open. Pause no Diddy. Undertaker and Goldberg was just flipping, flopping, sweating over each other, couldn't pick each other up. It was a whole bunch of stuff. Undertaker's disgust with the match. You can see the meme. And it's crazy because as a kid, that would have been one of my favorite matches to see. And the kid in me really believed that match was going to be good, and it definitely was. And I'm not sitting here saying that Saudi Arabia has some of the worst matches, but I am saying that, like, when they want something, they're going to do it. I remember when they first went out there, they were so, like, low-key kind of out of the loop of what wrestling is to America. They was asking for, like, the Ultimate Warrior and Yokozuna to show up, and they've been passed. They've been went to glory, and people was like, dog, do y'all even watch wrestling? Because, they do certain things out there where they want people to come to the event, and sometimes these people don't have a choice if they want to. I think it's a little different now because they were speaking about how women driving and a whole bunch of other stuff. They're working on some stuff, but still, even then, going outside of that, people still go vacation there, whatever, men and women. But still, nowadays, everything with WWE and with TKO is going to the highest bidder. Saudi Arabia has paid them people a lot of money and probably paid them a lot more money to be, hey, we want WrestleMania here. We don't just want a WrestleMania for us. We want a WrestleMania here in the history books from WrestleMania 1 to WrestleMania 43. And that's exactly what they got. That's exactly what they got. And, more people are going to be upset and more people are going to talk about it. But you know me, I have wanted to talk about it too. Now, we're going to go talk about this second situation. John Cena. John Cena only has a few matches soon left because he only has a few months left before he retires. So a lot of people was like, well, he's going to retire in Boston, right? Because he's from Boston. His last match is going to be in Boston, correct? Nope. Wrong. It's going to be in Washington, D.C. So a lot of people were scratching their heads. It was just like, okay, well, Boston is going to be at a house show. It's not even going to be a televised event, which it should be. It should be a televised event. But it seems like WWE is being petty. So the rumor is WWE contacted Boston about hosting his final match. So during the negotiation, allegedly, they said that it will cost him $7 million for John Cena to have his last match in Boston, where he's from. His hometown, home state, and all that. We'll do it live. We'll do it live for $7 million. Shout out to you, Arshawn and crew and drinking. Thank you for everything you continue to do for C3. I'm going to always say that. But still, yeah, so the projected plan was for John Cena to be having his final match in his hometown of Boston. But apparently WWE went to Boston and them and said, hey man, if y'all want John Cena's last match, it'll cost you $7 million. Y'all remember the Grow Sisters? The blue characters in the Proud Family? They used to have that short one. Her hand was like always out. That's exactly how WWE been doing. They've been doing this. They've been doing the Grow Sister pose. And that's exactly what they did to Boston. It was like, okay, hey, you guys raised John Cena. Y'all did a whole bunch of stuff for John Cena. However, $7 million. $7 million. $7 million. Much love, much respect. $7 million. Wowzers. So they declined. Because they felt like the tour rate and the tourism rate of people like flying out to Boston to see Cena and all of that stuff, they felt like they would not get reimbursed for the amount that WWE wanted to charge them for John Cena. So DC was like, I bet we'll bring him here. Now, do I think that Cena, it obviously would have brought a whole bunch of people flying overseas and everything just to see him and stuff like that. And maybe because of these ticket prices, Boston would have got their money back. But at the same time, it's the city. So you got to think about that as well. I don't know certain parts of Boston. I've never been to Boston. But yes, that is wild, Arshawn. That is crazy. They're like, hey, y'all won't see his last match. It's $7 million. They said no. DC said yes. So John Cena's last match televised is going to be allegedly so far in DC because it can go to the highest bidder. And and they're saying that John Cena's final appearance in Boston, it's a house show. So y'all not gonna record. I'm sure they're gonna record bits and pieces of it, but they're not. It's not a full standard show. So people are gonna record. And I wouldn't be surprised if they told people, "Hey, don't record." WWE used to be on that back in the day. So they're like, "All right, bet. Oh man, y'all don't want John Cena, the dude, y'all hometown hero, hustle, loyalty, respect, Dr. Thugonomics. Y'all don't want John Cena. All right, bet. We'll have John Cena show up one more time in his home state. However, we're not going to videotape it. We're not going to record it. We're not going to make it a big deal like we're supposed to." That is crazy. $7 million for John Cena. And listen, John Cena ain't a spring chicken no more. He ain't a spring chicken no more. I think the match he had with Logan Paul is one of his best matches he's had since he's returned. But he ain't a spring chicken no more. And I want these people to pay $7 million. Jeez. For a match. Is he gonna wrestle for an hour? Is he gonna wrestle for 7 hours? Like $1 million a minute? Like, good Lord, $7 million to have John Cena's final match. And I'll say this though. There was a time where people didn't think that wrestling was profitable. That it wasn't $1 million business and stuff like that because people felt like it was a niche market and stuff. Now you flip it and you turn around and people are bidding for PLEs and stuff. And then if they lose a bid, they could be promised another PLE in the city and people are waiting. They're patiently waiting. They're like, okay, cool. We don't get WrestleMania, but we're going to get Survivor Series. That is crazy to think about that. That is real crazy. As far as the business, how does it help the business? It doesn't technically help the business. It helps WWE, right? WWE is the standard, however. WWE is definitely the standard. When people promote independent wrestling, they'll probably say it's like WWE because people know what WWE is. Or if you want to say WWF, they say that or whatever like that. But as far as the business, it helps WWE. If people want to spend all that money, that's on them. If the city want to spend that money to bring them out, that's on them. They're going to continue to elevate. I'm not paying $30 for ESPN. I couldn't imagine paying $7 million for. Bro, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying and also they're talking about you can watch WrestlePalooza in movie theaters and select theaters. You can pay for a ticket to go see WrestlePalooza in theaters. Now, I do know that this practice of watching live events and contact sports in movies have been out for years. I've never really per se went and did it. But even then, that's like $30. So basically you spending a subscription fee for 1 month of ESPN. So it's like you might as well subscribe. Maybe they got a free trial or something. Hey, maybe they got a free trial, I'll look into it or whatever. Like, I don't know. I ain't about to do that. But $7 million for John Cena's last match is crazy. Like, imagine if The Undertaker didn't retire. Can you imagine how much he would have been? Or better yet, Stone Cold. Like, Stone Cold coming back to wrestle. Do you know how much money that will cost these people? We talking about people who $7 million to them is $30. Bro! Shout out to you, Yella. That is the best comparison. $30 to us is $7 million to DC for sure. I mean, not DC, Boston. It's $7 million. Like, what? I ain't got it, boss. Boss man. I ain't got it. Hey, I ain't got it. I ain't got it. $30 a month for an event that I may not like. See, Peacock, what, 15? Network, $10. Hey, first of all, let's be honest. The network had a better format for PLEs and pay-per-views. They were called pay-per-views at the time. One thing that I loved about the network, though, and randomly I know, one thing I thought I liked about the network was that I could go back and I can go watch something if I just missed it live. Peacock was like, nah, fam, you can't watch this. You got to wait until everything is done and all of this stuff. And you got to watch the interviews. You got to watch this. You got to watch that. I used to get so mad. The one in Espanol would be because they know, hey, let's cut this off and let's just play this PLE real quick. But still, the network had a better format. I can imagine how ESPN gonna be with ads and all of that stuff. Like I dang near can't even tolerate Netflix with their ads and stuff like that. But at least you have a timer. Yeah, Peacock was definitely annoying. So I'm not gonna say I'm gonna miss it. Besides the cheaper price of watching PLEs, but you couldn't go back and start from the beginning if it was live, because that's how much they didn't do it. And then they would play like what happened afterwards, like the last person who's in the ring, they're going either to the back or whatever. I hated that whole format, because when I used to try to go to work, I'm trying to hurry up and watch this before I go to work, before I go to sleep to go to work, and then I gotta wait, and I'll be like, nah, I'll just watch it tomorrow. I'm good. Now Saudi showed that for the right price, they give them. Yeah, they've been paying these people for a long time. I remember they was talking about the deals and all of that stuff when Vince was there and stuff, when they made the announcements of Saudi Arabia. I remember people calling it blood money and all of this stuff. I remember all that. They've been consistently paying WWE. We call them Wrestlemania house shows. Now I can imagine if the house shows look like Wrestlemania, I can imagine what Wrestlemania gonna look like. That's gonna be crazy. But yeah, man, that John Cena thing, $7 million for John Cena. Not a prime John Cena. John Cena. Nah, let me stop. I was about to joke. I don't want to joke too much. I won't go too far. But dang, John Cena, $7 million. I don't even care who the wrestler is, man. $7 million. That's crazy. $7 million. Can you imagine? And they like, all right, bet. Some shit, they secured it. They put the deposit down, or they put all that. $7 million for a match. Oh my gosh, $7 million. Like, back in the day, buy rates for certain pay-per-views and stuff would hit like 700,000, 800,000, 900,000, $1 million or whatever, and that would be considered successful buy rates for pay-per-views. $7 million for one match. Bruh, I don't even know. I didn't look into it, but I don't know if it's going to be a PLE, or I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be $7 million. That is crazy, yo. I don't even know what to say. I'm still speechless on the situation. That is $7 million? $7 million? That is crazy. $7 million. I'm about to get off this live, but still, $7 million for John Cena's. I don't know, man. But shout out to y'all, man. Let me know what y'all think, man. I gotta take care of some stuff. I'm about to pull up. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Shout out to you, Arshawn. Shout out to you, Yella. Shout out to you, Ray. There's a lot of people. Phoenix. Random Edit. Shout out to y'all. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. So I was late. They secured it. They definitely secured the bag in Saudi Arabia. It is going to be in Saudi Arabia, WrestleMania 43. It definitely will happen. People are mad, obviously. I'm not mad. It's WWE. They're going to go to the highest bidder. To me, it don't really matter like that. It's much. I mean, it is what it is at this point. To me, it is what it is. I mean, that's exactly what they want to do. So, his retirement match, though, like, what would you to host Kobe last? Yeah, it's sort of like that. Random. I remember when somebody tried to sell a bag of air at Kobe's last game, and low key was like, it was in like $20,000, and eBay took that off and said, hey, you can't do that. Can you imagine how mad I'd have to be if I actually have a bag of air from eBay, then I sell it, and the highest bid is going for $20,000, and then like the last day before it closes, eBay is like, nah, fam, you can't legitimize a bag of air at Kobe's last game. Can you imagine? That $20,000 is like $7 million to Boston right now. And it's like $30 to us for the ESPN deal. I'm going to use that, man. I'm definitely going to use that now. Shout out to you, Yellow. I'm going to use that. Because that's exactly what it is, man. Like I said, you know, this would be the best time for people who own independent wrestling companies and who are independent wrestlers, they start talking about support independent wrestling. This will be the perfect time. We'll say this. This will be the perfect time to get the t-shirts that say support indie wrestling, support independent wrestling. This will be the perfect time to do it because it's a fair price and it's decent and stuff like that. And like I said, I can only speak for C3 fans. Shout out to y'all and everything like that, because regardless, I'm not going to say tickets are just this and the tickets are just that. The fact that you rock with us and spend time with us and stuff like that, and we put on great shows, like, to me, wrestling to me is a form of servitude, to serve. You know, you want somebody to give you the best business, and I think that what C3 does, what Arshawn does, what Yella does, what DJ Dose does, what Shay, my wife, does, what the wrestlers do, and everything like that, staff and stuff. It's a form of servitude and stuff like that, you know. And we get the sponsors like Critically Drinking and stuff like that. We want to make sure that whatever they're investing in, they're getting their money's worth and their dollars worth of it. So it's very, very important. Now, I'm always going to put out a plug. You guys know that. But still, this will definitely be the time to get them shirts remade to support indie wrestling and stuff like that. And let's see if it goes anywhere with that, because it's a lot of stuff. But like I said, I'm out of here. I hope you guys have a wonderful, safe weekend. If you're doing anything, be safe. If you have an opinion, have it. Let's just, I don't want to say be respectful, but just be cool. I mean, golly, y'all wilding these last few days. But hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is Chris Classic. Let's take it home.